Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Ram Sankirtan ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 8, the character of Bharat Maharaj, Shloka number 16. Api bhata savai kripana ena bhalako mrita harini sutoho mama nashrayasya shatha kirata mater akrita sukritasya krita vishramba atma pratyayena tad aviganayan sujana ivagamishyati. Okay. Word to word meaning. Api, indeed. Bata, alas. Saha, that calf. Vai, certainly. Kripanaha, aggrieved. Ena balakaha, the dear child. Mrita harini sutaha, the calf of a dead doe. Aho, oh, mama, of me, Anashrayasya, the most ill-behaved, Shata of a cheater, Kirata, Kirata of an or of an uncivilized aborigine, Matehe, whose mind is that Akrita Sukritasya, who has no pious activities, Krita Vishrambha, putting all faith, Atma Prayat Atma Prayatyena, by assuming me to be like himself, Tad Avigan Aviganayan, without thinking of all these things, Sujanaha Iva, like a perfect gentle person, um, Agamishyati, will he return? Will he again return? Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation: Bharat Maharaj should think, alas, the deer is now helpless. I am now very unfortunate, and my mind is like a cunning hunter, for it always filled with cheating propensities and cruelty. The deer has put its faith in me, just as a good man who has a natural interest in good behavior forgets the misbehavior of a cunning friend and puts his faith in him. Although I have proved faithless, will this deer return and place its faith in me? Purport: Bharat Maharaj was very noble and exalted, and therefore, when the deer was absent from him, he thought himself unworthy to give it protection. Due to his attachment for the animal, he thought that the animal was as noble and exalted as he himself was. According to the logic of Atmavat Sarmat Manyate Jagat, everyone thinks of others according to his own position. Therefore, Maharaj Bharata felt that the deer had left him due to his negligence, and that due to the animal's noble heart, it would again return. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guraho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhupya Eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So here in the continuation, like Bharat Maharaj description is mentioned, that whenever the deer is there, with him, so he would feel very nice about it, and whenever the deer would leave him and go away, so he would feel very bad. And yesterday, in the 15th shloka, Srila Prabhupada gives a nice comparison of this kind of feeling, the feeling of separation, or feeling when the deer is absent, how Bharat Maharaj is feeling. So he is drawing a parallel to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's exhibition of feelings of separation, and then also Rupa Goswami's prayer that may my mind be attached to the Supreme Lord, just like an young couple, they are attracted to each other. So in that way, so let my mind be naturally attracted to the Supreme Lord's service. So this is something that it is mentioned. So it is quite a nice parallel that is drawn. So we also discussed about this aspect that no, we don't need to imitate the symptoms of exalted devotion. So it automatically comes, like just that our attachment to Krishna is the missing point. Otherwise, people are crying, people are exhibiting the feelings of separation for either for a deer or for a dog or something. So anyway, that is there. So that symptoms will come. So it's the key point is that so one has to develop attachment to Krishna. So in today's shloka, we see that how Bharat Maharaj is feeling that when the deer is not there, like then he is feeling that, oh, this deer is helpless now. So it is in the hands of cruel animals now. And he is putting himself in this one. I am very unfortunate, and my mind is like a cunning hunter who is always filled with cheating propensities and cruelty. So now we see that if is he a person like that, Bharat Maharaj, is he a person like that? He is a cheater, and he is like a hunter who's trying to kill, and he's having cruelty in his heart. So like you know, if we study the previous section, so it doesn't seem to be like that. So he is very compassionate. He actually brought the deer and maintained it, and then he is what is that cruelty? No, it's not there. And then yeah, cruelty was there in terms of giving up Krishna. So like his bhajan was going on, and then he left Krishna for taking care of deer. So but then cheating propensity, cruelty, and all these things were not there. And cunning hunter, so he was not cunning at all. He was trying to sincerely take care of the deer. So but then why is he feeling like this? No, this is a very important this one to understand. In fact, in the purport also, Prabhupada says Bharat Maharaj was very noble and exalted, and therefore when the deer was absent from him, he thought himself unworthy to give it protection. So this is a very interesting point. So one time I had asked my counselor that how to understand that exalted devotees, they feel themselves to be unqualified, or means they feel themselves like very low. How to understand this? So then he told that it is very difficult for you to understand. It will be it was not possible for you to understand, but I can give you one similarity, from where you can understand this a little bit. So he told that when the people, materialistic people, when they are too proud, so they, even though they are not qualified, so they may post themselves as qualified. They may tell that, no, I am like this, I am like that, and things like that. So they are not qualified, but then they are posing themselves as qualified. In the same way, in advanced stage, it reverses. No, they are very qualified, but they post themselves as unqualified. So it is a natural how a pride, how it functions. In the same way, the humility also functions. It's like it's two different opposites. So here we see that Bharat Maharaj is very very well qualified, and there is a mistake that has happened. So he was giving protection to the deer, and the deer has gone outside of the protection. So now there are different ways it can be taken. One is that ये तो deer का गलती है, चला गया. तो उसका गलती है तो मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ? So जब तक इधर था, like प्रोटेक्शन दे रहा था, अभी चला गया तो उसका गलती है. तो उसका ऊपर पॉइंट कर सकते थे, like we can point fingers on the deer. And then second, this one is to be neutral, that like जब तक था तो मैं प्रोटेक्ट कर रहा था, जब नहीं तो like मैं नहीं प्रोटेक्ट करूंगा. So it's like neutral, like no feelings, no feeling of pointing fingers at the deer, and no feeling about oneself also, like it is perfectly okay. And then third thing is putting the fault upon oneself. And this is the nature of a devotee. Hamani namanadena. So this is the nature of a devotee. And such devotee is qualified to execute devotional service. Right? So here we see that the deer is now helpless. And I am now very unfortunate. So, and my mind is like a cunning hunter. So why he is considering to be unfortunate? This requires a little bit of Kshatriya mentality, to understand. So somebody who has come to take protection, to take shelter. So, and for a Kshatriya, it is like somebody who has taken shelter of me and I could not give protection. No, that's a very big problem actually. So, in fact, when Arjuna came back dejected, after like Krishna's departure, so one of the questions that Yudhishthira Maharaj asks is that, did approach somebody approach you for shelter and you could not able to provide them shelter? So that's a that's a big thing for a Kshatriya. No, it's not a ordinary thing. No, like he can never say that, like, no, he no, that deer went off. No, like I gave him shelter but he went off. So that kind of this one is never seen in the Kshatriyas, this one. So like if they agree upon giving shelter to somebody, at any cost they will give shelter to that person. And we see all the more, from the Lord's perspective, that Sakradevana Prapannoyas. So that shloka. So we see that, like, once, even if somebody surrenders to the Supreme Lord and tells that I am yours, so the Lord gives him protection forever. Like he gives him abhayam sarvada tasmai tadame tatratam mama. So it is like very amazing, this one. So like if an ordinary Kshatriya feels like this, ki, somebody takes shelter, I have to give protection. So then how much the Lord would be thinking about. So in this connection, there is one story I heard long back. I think in some lecture I heard that two Sri Vaishnava sages, like, they are passing by in the forest, and then they see that a hunter had captured a rabbit, and then that rabbit actually is going around the legs of the hunter, and the hunter feels compassion. These rabbits are like, pleading for protection, and it is touching my feet. So and then he uh, releases the rabbit. So and then like one of the devotees, like one of the saints, like, who's passing by, so he is seeing this and he is actually crying, and the other saint is asking, like, no, what happened to you, like, why are you crying? So then like this saint, this sadhu is telling that he see this hunter, who's very cruel by nature, who likes to take the life of other people, and who doesn't offer any kind of sympathy to anybody. So even such a person, so when somebody takes shelter of him, he likes to, he has given the, like, charity of life, for that rabbit. So then how great my Lord would be, like how amazing my Lord would be. So he is by nature is very very merciful in his disposition, and he'll be like more, his like, what is that, his merciful nature is beyond imagination, so we cannot even start to calculate the Lord's merciful nature. So that is something like we can see, that's the nature of the Lord. And we can see that a sadhu, or even a Kshatriya for that matter, so when somebody takes shelter of them, so they feel for them, and here he is thinking that it is my unfortunate situation that I could not able to give protection to this deer, so I should have taken care of, properly. And then he's telling, my mind is like a cunning hunter, for it always filled with cheating propensities and cruelty. So this we discussed, just like, a person in pride, like, he cannot no he artificially decorates himself with qualities which he doesn't have. And so a person in humility, even though he has wonderful qualities, he naturally thinks that he is not, he doesn't have any good qualities, right? So that's the nature of humility. So, and it's quite difficult to imagine and contemplate, how these humble people function. So it seems very logical, but then, so both pride also doesn't have any logic and humility also doesn't have any logic. So, and it is a deep feeling, from the core of the heart. So the deer has put its faith in me, just as a good man who has a natural interest in good behavior forgets. The deer has put its faith in me, just as a good man who has a natural interest in good behavior forgets the misbehavior of cunning friend and puts his faith in him. Although I have proved faithless, will this deer return and place its faith in me? So this one, like, there is no what is it? There is no fault attributed to the deer. No, so whereas the deer is a dumb entity, no, so it can, like anybody can point fault at the deer, and so but then this one is, no, he's not pointing any fault at the deer. No, one is that because of his intense attachment to the sense object, so and always likes to win the favor um, of the dear one. Sometimes like this happens, like when Kamuk Vyakti, like he's trying to appease a woman. So whatever she does, mistake, that is not taken into account. So like only the thing is that somehow or other, like I have to appease, something like that. So we can see that, and the parallel of it, we can see it in the devotional service, like as Srila Prabhupada draws a parallel to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feelings of separation in the previous purport. So, and here in the purport it's mentioned, Bharat Maharaj was very noble and exalted, and therefore, when the deer was absent from him, he thought himself unworthy to give it protection. Due to his attachment for the animal, he thought that the animal was as noble and exalted as he himself, according to the logic of Atmavan uh, Manyate Jagat. So everyone thinks of others according to his own position. Therefore, Maharaj Bharata felt that the deer had left him due to his negligence, and that due to the animal's noble heart, it would again return. So here we see that it's an exalted position. So like accusing oneself, like it doesn't mean that somebody is going to degrade in his position or something like that. So if it is genuine feeling of humility, so then he is actually noted as a very highly exalted person. So like here we see that Bharat Maharaj is noted as a very exalted person, and then he is thinking of similar way. He is thinking of that animal also, like that is also exalted. So, and here this logic is mentioned, Atma Manyate Jagat. So, like how a person is, he feels everyone else also is like that. So, if we are feeling that other person is cheating or other person is like doing something wrong and things like that, so that means we should analyze, okay, like my heart is now polluted, so now I am actually a cheater. So I am seeing everybody else as cheater. No, I am actually doing some mistake. I am seeing everybody else is doing that mistake. So this is a way we can actually deduce that something is going wrong in my heart. So when I am seeing a particular thing in the environment commonly everywhere. So in a particular case, it may be it's okay. But everyone I am seeing, like I am seeing in that particular way, so then that means like something is problem. No, like I am affected by a particular disease and I am seeing that disease everywhere, right? So this is and then also if some good thing happens, like if we are seeing that everyone is a noble person, that means like it's good news. No, we are also making advancement. So everyone as we are able to see everyone as nice person, right? So this logic works, no, Atma Manyate Jagat. So like what kind of state of existence I am having in my consciousness, I will be able to see the similar kind of state of existence in others also, right? And also like one of the management discussions I was having, that one of the devotees was mentioning, Prabhu, in my congregation, like people are not enthusiastic, they are not helping me, this, that, and all these things. So then I was telling that leader that it is better to see that they are all good and they are doing everything nicely. And first, whatever we want them to do, like that, we have to create in our mind. They are good and they are nice and they are like very enthusiastic. All these things we have to create here, and then we have to appreciate based on that, and they will come to that state over a period of time. So if we already like think that okay, no, these people are not doing anything and these people are waste and this, that, and all, even if they are having some good quality, we will bring them to that level, no, the waste level. So that is this one, the power of contemplation actually. And no, so we have to put this idea that like no, they are good and they have to come to that level. So that is also one of the aspects, like even if we are not able to see good, so by attributing good, we can actually elevate somebody from bad to good. So that is also one it's, I would not say management principle, it's a psychological principle. No, it works well actually in that way. So then, therefore, Maharaj Bharat felt that the deer had left him due to his negligence, and that due to the animal's noble heart, it would again return. So, he was feeling like that. No, it is the animal can return back. No, in that way. So now another important aspect we can see. No, this aspect of Amanina Manadena is there. So it is a very amazing aspect. It is like a devotee aspires to get this particular stage, and with this stage, a devotee makes nice progress in Krishna consciousness. But even after having this particular attribute, Bharat Maharaj is completely overtaken by illusion. So one important thing, though few years back, when we were doing this Purushottam celebration, so in the temple they were discussing this 26 qualities of 24 or 20, 26 qualities of Vaishnavas. So, all the qualities were described, and when we are studying that, different one day, like one speaker was called upon, for giving a class. So when that was happening, so one nice thing in that analysis was all these wonderful qualities are good, but then the primary quality of a devotee is exclusive shelter of, he takes exclusive shelter of Krishna. So if that quality is not there, all other qualities, can be present in a material platform also. Here there is a very wonderful quality of attributing all good to others and then putting all fault in oneself. That is there, but still it is not Krishna conscious. Still it is not. No, still it is perfectly within the modes of material nature. Why? Because it is attributed, where Krishna is not the center. So then all the qualities loses its life. So the primary life of all the qualities is that Krishna is the primary thing, like primary entity who gives life to all the devotional qualities. So here, because it is not having connection with Krishna, so then it is like lifeless. So in this connection, I was just always we discuss about this point that Krishna consciousness is that once which which illuminates everything everywhere. So now I was thinking, like, we will read a little bit from the Nectar of Devotion. So 2-3 paragraphs. So where it is nicely mentioned, this particular aspect is mentioned. I'll just take a few minutes to read this section. So this eternal engagement in Bhakti Rasa can be understood by a serious student upon studying Nectar of Devotion. So like, the Bhagavad Gita is for philosophy, understanding like who we are, who is Krishna, and what is our duty. And the duty of devotional service, how to perform this duty, should be understood from Nectar of Devotion. So this is the science of devotional service. So like how the practical ways, how we should render devotional service has to be understood from Nectar of Devotion. So, adoption of Bhakti Rasa or Krishna consciousness will immediately bring one to an auspicious life free from anxiety and bless one with transcendental existence, thus minimizing the value of liberation. Bhakti Rasa itself is sufficient to produce a feeling of liberation because it attracts the attention of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Generally, neophyte devotees are anxious to see Krishna or God, but God cannot be seen or known by our present materially blent senses. The process of devotional service, as it is recommended in the Nectar of Devotion, will gradually elevate from one material condition of life to the spiritual status wherein the devotee becomes purified of all designations. The senses can then become uncontaminated, being constantly in touch with Bhakti Rasa. When the purified senses are employed in the service of the Lord, one becomes situated in Bhakti Rasa life, and any action performed for the satisfaction of Krishna in this transcendental Bhakti Rasa stage of life can be relished perpetually. So it is nicely mentioned the first execution of devotional service, it actually purifies a person, and then with the purified senses, when somebody engages in devotional service, that is relishment. That's where the real relishment actually comes. When one is thus engaged in devotional service in all varieties of rasas or mellows, turns into eternity. In the beginning, one is trained according to the principles of regulation under the guidance of an acharya or spiritual master of and gradually when one is elevated, devotional service becomes automatic and spontaneous eagerness to serve Krishna. There are 12 kinds of rasas, as will be explained in this book, and by renovating our relationship with Krishna in 5 primary rasas, we can live eternally in full knowledge and bliss. The basic principle of the living condition is that we have a general propensity to love someone. So that we can see in this particular case that general propensity of loving someone is there. So previously he was loving Krishna and now he is loving the deer, right? So no one can live without loving someone else. No, it is completely not possible. If we are not loving Krishna, then we must be loving somebody. This propensity is present in every living being. Even an animal like a tiger has its loving propensity, at least in a dormant stage, and it is certainly present in the human beings. The missing point, however, is where to repose our love so that everyone can become happy. At the present moment, the human society teaches one to love his country or family or his personal self, but this is no information. But there is no information where to repose the loving propensity so that everyone can become happy. That missing point is Krishna, and the nectar of devotion teaches us how to stimulate our original love for Krishna and how to be situated in that position where we can enjoy our blissful life. In the primary stage, a child loves his parents, then his brothers and sisters, and as he daily grows up, he begins to love his family, society, community, country, nation, or even the whole human society. But the loving propensity is not satisfied even by loving all human society. That loving propensity remains imperfectly fulfilled until we know who is the supreme beloved. Our love can be fully satisfied only when it is reposed in Krishna. This theme is the sum and substance of the nectar of devotion, which teaches us how to love Krishna in 5 different transcendental mellows. Our loving propensity depends just as a vibration of light or air expands, but we do not know where it ends. The nectar of devotion teaches us the science of loving every one of the living entities perfectly by the easy method of loving Krishna. We have failed to create peace and harmony in human society, even by such great attempts as United Nations, because we do not know the right method. The method is very simple, but one has to understand it with a cool head. The nectar of devotion teaches all men how to perform the simple and natural method of loving Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we learn how to love Krishna, then it is very easy to immediately and simultaneously love every living being. This is like pouring water on the root of a tree or supplying food to one's stomach. The method of pouring water on the root of a tree or supplying foodstuff to the stomach is universally scientific and practical, as every one of us has experienced. So here in this point, we see that generally this point of here also Bharat Maharaj should not have taken care of the deer, or like even somebody renounces the world. No, he is having hard heart. No, he is not caring for his family or his immediate dependents, and then he is actually renouncing, and he is trying to take up like so-called sadhu life and things like that. So people actually accuse of this thing. So but then we see that it is desire to love. So it is not coming out of you hate everybody and then you come to take up Krishna consciousness. So it is coming out of, like Prabhupada nicely builds the whole point, that initially child loves the parents and then brothers and sisters and then the family and then different levels of this one, and the loving propensity is only expanding. And when somebody comes to the point of loving Krishna, it is expanded to its no limits. No, it is expanded to its greatest extent, that no one actually reposes love to everyone. No, he actually he loves everyone. So this is a nice point, that sometimes, like, one is from the point of the people who criticize. So they actually put that key, like, these people are hard-hearted people, so they only want Krishna Krishna, and like they don't want not to take care of their immediate dependents and things like that. So now we can see that it is only out of pure love for everyone. So a person truly renounces, and the people who falsely renounce also, just to escape from the responsibility. And for them, like, the thing is that real renunciation actually comes by really loving Krishna and really feeling that every single thing, every single entity that is present in the whole creation is part and parcel of Krishna. And no, like when we actually appreciate Krishna, so then we appreciate and love every single part and parcel of Krishna. So like renunciation that comes out of hatred, so that will not stay for long. The renunciation that comes out of deep attachment to the Lord, that can actually stay for long. So, and that is why, like when somebody wants to dedicate his life, one of the things that we test in the initial uh, like evaluation is that is his appreciation for Krishna is more, or is his desire to renounce the world is more. What is the thing which is actually propelling his decision? So if his appreciation for Krishna is good, and if he wants to render service to Krishna, service to the spiritual master, or help the mission of Srila Prabhupada, so then there is a good chance that he may last for long. Otherwise, if his desire is that, like, no, material world is too difficult, no, I want to like have no like what is that? It is more about liberation, or it's more about like trying to get out of the miseries of the material world. So then, no, of course, like no, with this, like together I can do something for the missionary activity. So then his primary this one is of getting out of the miseries of the material world. So that inspiration is not sufficient. No, that will not help a person to stay. And no, from this we can actually understand the greater sense, like how a person who's desiring liberation, he is also not having proper shelter. Like because he's not oriented towards devotion to Krishna, so he will have to come back. So Prabhupada today morning I was hearing nice class. So he gave a very amazing analogy. So people go to the space, using Sputnik, and then they go to the space. And then why do they come back? So maybe they are spending 1 year time or 1 month time, whatever time. And why do they come back? So because they don't have any shelter. They cannot stay there. So in the same way, like a person who gets liberation and floats in Brahmajyoti, they come back, because they don't get shelter. The only shelter is the lotus feet of the Lord. And if that is not there, so everybody has to come back. They have to change their position. So only when somebody takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, he can be fully situated, like properly situated. Yad gatva nivartante tadama paramam. So all other places are temporary. So even if the place is not temporary, Brahman is not temporary, it's permanent, but still the person cannot stay there. His residence will only be temporary. Mm. So that's an amazing this one. Like, material world people can say that, okay, the place is temporary. Even if you want, this universe will be destroyed after some time. Even if the place is okay, it's there for a long time. Your body will be destroyed. Like because of that, it is temporary, we can say. But in Brahman, the liberated soul is permanent and Brahman is permanent, but still the residence is temporary because he's not taken shelter of the Lord. So even if everything becomes permanent, still we cannot stay. That's without the shelter of the Lord. So that's a nice logic actually. So, so everyone knows well that when we eat something, or in other words, when we put some foodstuff in the stomach, the energy created by such action is immediately distributed throughout the whole body. Similarly, when we pour water on the root, the energy thus created is immediately distributed throughout the entirety of even the largest tree. It is not possible to water the tree part by part, nor it is possible to feed the different parts of the body separately. So now comes the punchline which Prabhupada gives. The nectar of devotion will teach us how to turn that one, how to turn the one switch that will immediately brighten everything everywhere. One who does not know this method is missing the point of life. It's like real punchline that Prabhupada gives. So this is like, we see that the opposite, the corollary of it is when, like we all know the science of how to switch off, the switch, how to become like when we get attached to the sense objects, or when we commit offenses, or like when we associate or like expose ourselves to the three modes of nature and allow ourselves to be contaminated by the modes of nature, then the switch gets switched off, and then everything everywhere gets darkened at immediately one point in time. So like it's a very powerful point actually. Here we see that Bharat Maharaj, like he knew the science of devotion. He had experience of he had higher experience, param drushta. He had higher experience also. So all these things are there, but somehow or other, no, he happened to switch off, and when he switched off, everything everywhere become dark. No, like he is not able to think of Krishna. He's like, even though he is performing the rituals, still he is not able to get the intense remembrance of Krishna, and rather he is thinking about the deer, and the, like he himself as the maintainer and protector of the deer and things like that. So it's a classic example of the switch is switched off, no, and he's not able to like see the light of Krishna anywhere. No, he's only able to see the darkness, and darkness means, we have always discussed that either like no, first of all, Krishna is not visible in the picture, and then I am the master, and this is like object is like no, I should enjoy this no particular object, or here I am the protector, no, like if not for me, like who will protect this person, like that. So I am the protector, or like I am the victim, or I'm the, what is that, like I am to be I am attacked, no, by this material object or something like that. So like, whereas no, the Krishna consciousness means like everything will have Krishna in its picture, no, like Krishna is the master, no, I am to be enjoyed, and everything else to be enjoyed by Krishna. And then like Krishna is the protector, no, in whatever way Krishna actually employs me to protect somebody, so I may, you know, engage in that way. And then if something is going to harm me, so Krishna is my best well-wishing friend, and something that is trying to harm me is also part and parcel of Krishna. So like, no, how can he harm me, no, in any way? So even if he wants to harm me in particular way, so that is his like no kind way of correcting me or something like that. So he is seeing Krishna in every equation. So that means like everything everywhere is illuminated, and like if he is not able to see Krishna in the equation, so then everything everywhere is darkened, no. So like light is switched off, like that. So with this, I pause today's discussion. Any questions or comments can take?
Management principle that you spoke. So how does it really work? Because the person is saying that congregation is not proper, and then he has to assume that no, they are enthusiastic. So that will create more delta difference. No? He has more expectation now, or he is assuming that they are enthusiastic and they are not. So how about this?
So one thing that is generally this kind of thought comes like the general scenario, like the scenario with which like I had advised this particular thing, is that the person himself is little low in his sadhana at that point in time. The leader himself is little low in the sadhana. So because of that, it is quite difficult for him. Like even if others become enthusiastic, it's a problem for him. Like, you know, it will be incompatible situation. whereas the whereas the congregation is enthusiastic and this guy is low. And generally, sometimes it is the case that like when a person is nicely enthusiastic in his personal sadhana, so then he will have the knack to uplift the consciousness of the people actually. So generally, like, no, it is not the fault of the dependents, no, that they are not doing Krishna consciousness properly. No, it is the this one. So one sadhana is nice, one is relishing Krishna consciousness nicely. So then just by his association, no, he can actually uplift the whole scenario. So when the position of this one is coming that, oh, these people are not doing properly, so and the lot of accusation is coming, so that means there is some no serious this one. If it is one person, we can understand. If it is whole lot of congregation, so then that is no, it is not possible actually in that way. And even if it is the case, they are not enthusiastic. So, like, it is somebody who's stuck in the well and somebody who's there outside. And, like, a person who's stuck in the well, he can say, like, I'm stuck in the well, it's perfectly okay. And a person who's trying to take people out, if he's telling that these people are stuck in the well, obviously they are stuck in the well. Your job is to take them out. So, like that. So, it is the this one key, like, and also like the people who are generally lack of enthusiasm is there. So the general this one is that, oh, I cannot do this, and like, like Krishna consciousness is not for me and things like that and all. So then a person has to create that this one, no, it is possible for you. First is to give that this one key, like he can perform Krishna consciousness, that energy should be given. So in that way, like that whole this one has to be prepared. So in that way, like this works, this particular scenario. We have to also see, like, where we are giving that advice, and how it works. And generally, like, this is what the advice I got, from my superiors, whenever I was low, that whenever things like, I went and complained that, people are not listening to me, things are not going good, and things like that. So first is like, pause everything and do your sadhana properly. It is not people are not doing, it is your sadhana is weak. No, that is what the reflection, that's actually coming. So I just tweaked a little bit and gave that same thing to that devotee. Thanks.
Probably you said that taking shelter of Krishna and loving Krishna. So generally we speak about personalism and we like also. The taking shelter of a devotee is more easier than the taking shelter of Krishna.
What is the difference?
So because we communicate with the senior
No,
devotees.
there is no difference. When this one Bhagavatam or Nectar of Devotion tells of taking shelter of Krishna, Krishna means not just Krishna. Krishna means Krishna's Dham, his holy name, his devotees, the spiritual master. So taking shelter of Krishna means, practically, like, if somebody tells, like, I've taken shelter of Krishna, so then the question is, like, whom you have taken shelter, like which devotee you have taken shelter. So, like, that is a practical way of taking shelter of Krishna. You know. So it is perfectly in line. Both the statements are in line. So this, our Vamshivadan Prabhu was clarifying when he was taking Nectar of Devotion in the Bhakti Shastri. So when it came to that Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam, so the word Krishna means, Krishna himself, and like Krishna's dear entities, his devotees, like all the aspects that are tightly connected to Krishna is non-different from Krishna. So like Krishna Anushilanam, when it comes, it is not just like, when like after no good amount of chanting, Krishna will manifest in front of me, and that time I will offer shelter to him. No, it is not like that. So the holy name, Bhagavatam, the devotees, the spiritual master, all of them are non-different from Krishna, and one should exhibit his shelter to, means one should take shelter of these, one should take shelter of that one person Krishna through this, many entities, like that.
Prabhuji, you said there is a propensity of love to everyone. Like there is a propensity of love for every jiva. Without love, no one can stay. And the highest love one can get is of Krishna, the fully satisfactory love. But one question came, Prabhuji, suppose if we get fully satisfied by the love of Krishna, then what will keep us motivated to go on towards Krishna? Because in real life example, if you say, suppose if I like gulab jamun, I am fully satisfied, and I will not get, suppose I take 10 gulab jamun, and I will be not get motivated to take.
That is not satisfaction, that is frustration. Now, after certain time, you cannot take, you are frustrated by your limitation. So, but in Krishna consciousness, that frustration doesn't come. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. So, like constant expansion of this one bliss is there, and it is not satiation. No, it is real satisfaction. So when you, like, there is two things are there. So you get satiated at a certain point in time. Like if you eat something, if you eat sweet or if you eat anything, so you get satiated at a certain point in time. So in Krishna consciousness, the satiation doesn't come, but then satisfaction comes. You are really satisfied, but then you have capacity to take more. And even if you take more, you will never become satiated. वो कभी तक नहीं जाएंगे इसमें. Like आपका और ज़्यादा लेने का मन लगेगा. So like that. Yes, bro. क्या डिसीजन फर्स्ट पॉइंट है कि दिस like even from the stage of bhava one can fall. So why? Because there is still the tinge of this one is there. So the stage of bhava, generally it is the example that is given is of moon. So moon has slight patches, though it doesn't affect the moon's illumination. It's completely bright and white. So, but still, it has some slight traces of materialism, which can, possibly, bring a person down. So, like, but then one good thing is, like we discussed in the previous sessions, one good thing is, like, Krishna never leaves no such a person. What to speak of a person who has attained Bhava stage? So even a person who has told once that I am yours, no, he is not even like, LKG भी pass नहीं किया. Like means in the bhakti, like Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, like, वो वाला classes में वो LKG भी pass नहीं किया. Like he is submitting himself to the Lord even once, truly from the heart. So then he is within the control of the Lord. No, even if he wants to go to the materialism, Lord will somehow or other bring him to Krishna consciousness. So like that is in the yatra we were discussing that what is the core, like the most important aspect of a preacher, somehow or other make the other person say to the Lord that Lord I am yours, that's it. उसके बाद तुम किधर भी जाना जाओ, like तुम दारू पीना पियो, like जो कुछ भी करना करो, तुम्हारा लाइफ खत्म हो गया. Just one time you tell I am yours, my lord. That's it. उसके बाद like भगवान देखेंगे तुम्हारा. So like, so that is a very nice point. Like preacher, for preachers it is a very nice. This one की like one point focus. Just इतना बुलवा दो, उससे like खत्म हो गया. So then yeah, the next point is that what he could have done. No, what he could have done. No, he should have immediately taken care of the basic needs of the this one, and then he should have set it out. Set that this one out, like and perfectly knowing that the Lord is the maintainer of all the living entities. So if he can maintain me in the forest, I'm not having my kingly riches and things like that. So like and he could have, even if there is a confusion, always there is a nice prayer that is there. No, my Lord, I don't know what to do in this particular situation. Now I have, somehow or other, I have got into this responsibility of taking care of this deer, and the mother is gone. So what I'm supposed to do? Please give me some clarity. So like that. So the reference, or even he could have asked from other sadhus, who are there, like in the ashram, like next to his ashram. What am I supposed to do? So always it is very essential. So here, this is also one important, this one, like Bharat Maharaj thought that I know what is supposed to be done. So then that is also a problem. So it is better always to ask, like, no, I'm put in this situation, what am I supposed to do? Like, so that is very, very helpful, and it is shielding. It always gives us protection. Right? So, and the sadhus would have told, maybe like we'll time share, and all of us will keep one day, so that nobody will develop attachment. I don't know, like that would have not happened, but I'm just telling it. It's a wild thought. So, so like some ways they would have devised that they will not develop attachment to the deer, at the same time the deer is taken care of, or they would have given it in the hands of the Lord. The Lord will take care of the deer. So some innovative ideas would have come. So, and the Lord is so amazing. Like he would have given so many ideas.
Prabhuji, one point was pride versus humility. Where Bharat Maharaj was finding fault in himself because of my mistake. But actual thing is we have to be humble, but then how to inculcate humility within ourselves.
So, like in any situation, it is better to see, especially in the devotee environment, not in the official environment. We have to be little chalu. So, like in devotee environment, we should see that, like, uh, I could have done some fault in this scenario. What is my fault in this? So that's a very good way of seeing, like that. So that is the way, like we should cultivate and practice. So, like, but then all the qualities, they will manifest later point in time. Like it is mentioned, a person, he goes to the higher stages of bhakti, like especially in the vicinity of bhava. So that is when the true humility will be manifest. So so before that, if we imitate those spiritual qualities, that is called sahajiya. But still, even in the beginning stages, this gratitude and humility, no, this is expected to be cultivated, even though it will be of material in nature. That quality that we are cultivating, that will be of material nature, but still, no, it is very essential for us to cultivate, no, because without that we cannot make progress in devotional service. Other qualities like intense attachment to Krishna, and then like feelings for Krishna and things like that. So these kind of qualities, no, we should not imitate now. We should not try to cultivate it now. So if we cultivate that in the material sense, that becomes sahajya. So, but then these qualities, like the acharyas themselves recommend these qualities like humility, gratitude, and things like that. So these have to be cultivated even in the beginning stages of bhakti, though it will be of material origin. No, it is not the divine humility that we are having. So original humility will come in the later stages of bhakti. But even though it is an imitation, it is born of material modes of nature, but still this humility has to be cultivated, because without that we cannot make progress in bhakti. Like that. So one has to practice this, like seeing fault in oneself and seeing good in others. Like that. By practice, we can avoid, means it may not come. By practice, like we may enhance our devotion. By devotion, the divine quality will come up. No, materially, never we can make it perfect. We will always make mistake. So we should not never expect that now I will practice humility perfectly. नहीं हो सकता. We will be faulty. So, but then the sincere attempt will please the Lord, and we will make advancement in Krishna consciousness. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्ण.